Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Andrew Cavanaugh. I want to say thank you for coming back to Cavanaugh's Corner. Today in the show, I'm going to be talking about a movie that just got released this past week, and it's one of these movies that is really, honestly, probably one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. This is a movie I've seen many times. I remember the first time I saw it, and it really blew me away. But today I'm going to be talking about a Best Picture winner. Actually, this movie won 7 Academy Awards back in 1973, and I'm so glad that it's finally getting a 4K Blu-ray treatment, and that is The Sting, starring Robert Redford, Paul Newman, and I mean just a ton of other great actors in this movie. Dana Elcar plays a really great part in this, Robert Shaw. I mean, the list goes on, but this is one of these movies that I've always loved. And, even though you kind of know what's going to happen after the first time you see it, it's a movie that really rewards repeat viewings. And I've always been a fan of this movie. I mean, I've always been a fan of Paul Newman and Robert Redford, but George Roy Hill directing this, Marvin Hamlish doing the Scott Joplin music in this. It's just all around. It's just such a fantastic movie. And I'm very glad that I was able to pick up the limited edition steelbook here. I'm going to take the slipcover off because the artwork on this thing is really fantastic. And this is the front here. There's a little piece of adhesive here for the little pamphlet thing that comes over it. And you can see it has the artwork on the back, and then on the inside there's additional artwork with Redford and Newman's on the other side under the discs, but has the standard Blu-ray and the 4K disc, and it also comes with a digital copy that redeems in 4K, as you can see behind me here. So again, really cool stuff. This is, again, a nice little set here, the steel book. When I saw the artwork, I was like, I gotta go after this, so I'm glad I was able to get it. But really, the movie itself is the reason why I had to buy this. It's a movie that has had a pretty good Blu-ray release for a while. I think the older Blu-ray wasn't too bad, but I really wanted to see what this thing looked like in 4K with the high dynamic range and everything. And needless to say, it did not disappoint. This is another really good release from Universal. Now, the one thing I have to say about the picture quality on this disc, on the 4K I should say, is that the picture is really not groundbreakingly different. They just enhanced everything that The Sting is known for in its cinematography. The movie has a lot of kind of muted colors. It's a very natural kind of look. It doesn't really go into very dynamic territory here. It is set in kind of the Great Depression, and honestly, the movie's look is just amazing. That classic kind of style, it still holds up to this day. It's a beautiful looking movie. But the one thing that I have to say about this 4K disc is the picture, the colors and everything are enhanced to a degree, but it's not like they totally revamped the color palette. It's still a very kind of muted, but yet natural look. The movie looks, it does look really good still. I think the biggest bump is in the detail level on this disc. The detail level is the biggest thing. You can really almost count the stubble on Redford's face in some of the opening scenes. The colors of the little poker chips look brighter than ever. Again, there's a lot of little things in this movie that this 4K master really brings out. Clothing, the suits and the tuxedos and all these things look very vibrant. The one thing that really jumped out at me, and again, this is something that you can't help but notice it, especially in 4K. Paul Newman's eyes, those blue eyes, they just jump out at you. And that's not a mistake. Edith Head, the costume designer for this movie, who also won an Oscar that year, really purposefully did their costumes to bring out their blue eyes, because Redford and Newman both have again, stunning blue eyes. And those blue eyes, I will say, they are shocking. How much it's like, whoa, there's just, you see these things. It's really impressive. But those two lead actors, again, I mean, they really ramp up the charm in this movie. And crazy to think that this is the only movie that Robert Redford has ever received an acting nomination for the Oscars. It's kind of depressing, honestly, but it is still a great movie, and this new 4K disc really is impressive. I didn't notice a lot of DNR. Again, there is a fine grain all throughout the picture, which is excellent. I do not like it when they DNR the crap out of movies. I may have noticed DNR in one scene about midway through the film, and it was a minor little touch-up, I think. It may have actually been to remove damage, for all I know. But, very, very, very minor use, if any at all. It may not have even been DNR, but the movie does look phenomenal. And Universal did a great job of touching up the picture, showing it in its highest quality, but not, blowing it out of proportions and making it look so vivid that it looks unrealistic. It's the same Sting that you remember, only clearer than ever. And like I said, the HDR, even though it really doesn't pop throughout the entirety of the film, it really does lend a lot to certain colors, and those colors that aren't muted really come out at you, and it's great. It's a great, great picture on this disc. I recommend it on the picture alone. Besides that, the audio on this is pretty much the same DTS HD 5.1 master audio that was on the older Blu-ray. It's still a very good soundtrack. The music sounds incredible. The dialogue and everything is crystal clear. I did notice, though, that I had to turn it up just a little bit, mainly because of certain scenes. Even though the dialogue was clear, it is kind of a lower volume than I was expecting. It's not a bad sound mix by any means, but I would have liked if they touched it up just a little bit for this disc. This movie really does not warrant a DTS X or a Dolby Atmos track, so I understand why they kept the same 5.1 on here. Even though it's a carryover soundtrack, I still think it sounded great. A little quiet, but nothing to the point where, turning it up about 2 or 3 notches kind of did the job. And again, it's an iconic movie. The music in this is just as iconic as the movie. As soon as you hear some of the music from this film, I instantly think of this. And, again, Scott Joplin's music really has stood the test of time. It's amazing how well it works in this film and puts you right into the movie. But other than that, I have to say the other great thing about this disc is the fact that it also has all the special features on the 4K disc. And Universal's been doing that for a while, but I'm glad that they continued that with this. There is a 3-part documentary called The Art of the Sting, which is on here. There is actually a little featurette about the restoration of some of the movies that Universal has remastered through the years, which is really nice. There is a little featurette about the 70s at Universal, and they also talk about the backlot on here. So, again, pretty cool that they put that stuff on the 4K as well as the standard Blu-ray. I really like it when they do this. Again, the Blu-ray that's on this disc is the exact same Blu-ray that has been released before. They did not do like a whole new Blu-ray for it. It's the same exact one. But the 4K, again, if you're a fan of this movie, as you should be, this is a phenomenal movie. I understand why some people don't like it, the structure and everything of it. But I have to say, this is one of my favorites, and it honestly has never looked better, even though, again, it's not a totally different film from what I remember seeing. It wasn't like seeing the movie for the first time, but I do have to say the movie has never looked this good, and I'm glad to have it in 4K for the future. It's a great, great film, made only better by the 4K disc here, so I highly recommend it. And if you do want to pick this up, even though the Steelbook is basically kind of sold out, I will put a link in the description below if you do want to pick this up on 4K. There'll be a link to Amazon below. And if you do buy the movie on Amazon through that link, it's very important you use that link. If you do that, then you're actually helping the channel because I do get some money from that. So if you are buying the movie and you want to get it through Amazon, please click that link in the description because it would be doing me a huge favor. So thank you so much for that. But that's all for today on Cavanaugh's Corner. I want to say thank you for coming back to the channel. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel below so I can keep bringing you reviews like this. Again, please stay safe. I wish you all the best and take it easy.